you're a 1 in billions of sperm that matched to 1 in tens of thousands of eggs from your mom to become you. And so when you do that probabilistic math, it's like 1 in several 70 trillion% odds that you exist. One of the primary purposes for us being here is to evolve. And so I believe evolution, evolving as a human, occurs at the periphery of your discipline. The furthest extent of ever walk that I know is like maybe a mile. We walk a mile to school. We could tell she was struggling. Her discipline started kicking in, one foot in front of the other. And to our surprise, to my surprise, not giving her enough credit, which is my fault, she completed the 4-mile walk without one single complaint in the hot, sunny summer of Austin, Texas. Some people just want to be static NPCs, non-participating characters. You just do your thing, routine in, out, and then you die insignificantly. What's up, everybody? This is the N2N podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. N2N, also known as the Prolific Ninja, or Ninja on my socials, and by my family and friends. And because my fans and my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the N2N podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning, the end, time of life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in the all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Glad to be back in the studio. Man, it's been a whirlwind weekend. Spent some time in Chicago, expanding the law firm. Spent time yesterday at COTA, taking parade laps in one of my supercars for the World Endurance Championships. Unfortunately, the rain was uncooperative to the race, so I didn't get to see the completion of the race, but congratulations to all the teams that endured in the endurance race at COTA. Phenomenal time with the Exotics Network, one of the things that groups that we sponsor. Just getting the word out around the N2N podcast, this podcast, and all the other businesses and properties that I own. So glad to be back. Before I begin the podcast subject matter, I want to start my podcast as I start my day, which is every morning I wake up. Thank God in the universe for another day to be great, another day to hopefully inspire just one person. That's all it takes for me, honestly, to inspire one person to live to their fullest controllable potential. Of course, the mission of this podcast is to inspire billions across the planet. And with that, I need your help. So we do this on a karmic exchange. So if you're new to the show, I believe in energy and the frequency governing all things universe, God, whatever spirituality you have. And with that, when you receive karma, you have to repay the karma because in the end, it all balances out. So with respect to that, we operate this show on a karmic exchange, which means essentially if you receive benefit, karmic energy from me out of this show and all the team that puts this together for you, then you either owe us a karmic debt or you can repay that, which is by sharing the show. So we like to say, if you're knowledgeable, share the show. That is how we grow, and that is how we restore the karma and keep everything on balance and in harmony, which is all a part about this show. And if you're new to this show, you know I'm a physician, I'm a lawyer, business guy, have several business properties and digital properties, have invested in several deals. I have a law firm in Houston. We've helped thousands of individuals over millions and millions of dollars over the past 4 years. I have CureConnector.com, which is a health tech company, LegacyXToken.com, which is a blockchain legal company, and then we're invested in other consumer products, AI businesses that I can't reveal at the moment, but we've got a lot of things in the works. So with that, let's get into the crux of the episode. You know, when I was young, I used to just daydream and the main philosophical, little tongue-tied today, and the main philosophical question I've always had ever since I was young and through today, which is, why are we here? Like, why am I here? Why is your brother, your sister, your friend, your daughter, your son, why are they here? And in one of the episodes, I can't remember the episode, but the mathematical probability of you being here is like 1 in 70 trillion, whatever the math is. Because if you think about it biologically, you are a combination of your father and your mother. And your father, you're a 1 in billions of sperm that matched to 1 in tens of thousands of eggs from your mom to become you. And so when you do that probabilistic math, it's like 1 in several 70 trillion % odds that you exist. And so, that's kind of abstractly mind-blowing to me. And so for me, ever since I was young, it was just like, why am I here? Why do I exist? And part of the process of me learning through success, through business, through relationships, through just thinking, is that one of the primary purposes for us being here is to evolve. We as humans on this experience, on this earth, this 3D world, we need to evolve, right? It's not a purpose defined by what you do in your vocation or how you help other people or the legacy you want to leave behind or the job you want to try to accomplish or complete. Esoterically or philosophically or spiritually, the purpose is to evolve in some way, to define, refine, and understand who you actually are. And so how do you actually evolve in the context of understanding this and then applying this to your business world or your goal-setting standards, which is what this podcast is actually really about? And so I believe evolution, evolving as a human, occurs at the periphery of your discipline. And your discipline is what you are able, capable, or willing to do up to a point. And it is at that edge of that point or that line is where you actually start evolving, so that your discipline keeps expanding as you continually evolve, right? So evolution is not just doing things. It's expanding to the edge of what you already do and then pushing that boundary further out, right? So I'll give you an example. I'm learning quantum physics, quantum mechanics now. I know zero about it. So my discipline is zero. So if I read pages 1 through or read a chapter of a new quantum physics book, I've evolved. I've evolved my knowledge. I've evolved my skill set, right? If I now read 2 more chapters beyond that first chapter, I've evolved again. And I've expanded my knowledge base. So I'm evolving as I'm learning or as I'm doing. And it's not just mentally, it could be spiritually or physically. And I'll give you another example. A few weeks back, we were in Austin, my family and I. I have a daughter, and my wife and I, and she's 7 years old, 2nd grade, growing child, very active and athletic. But that particular morning, we told her, hey, we're going to go on a 4-mile walk, a trail hike. And it's not a normal walk on a sidewalk, flat plain. It's a trail hike in Austin around Lady Bird Lake in Austin, if you've ever been, just outside of downtown. And it's, terrain, uphill, downhill, hot, sunny, summery, all these things, right? And to incentivize her, we said, if you can do this without complaint, then you'll get, some type of reward at the end of the walk or any of the trail, like a new toy or new stuff, whatever, right? The furthest extent of she's ever walked that I know is like maybe a mile. We walk a mile to school, and that's about it. So this is a real challenge for her. And sure enough, we could tell she was struggling. Her discipline started kicking in, 1 foot in front of the other, and to my surprise, not giving her enough credit, which is my fault, she completed the 4-mile walk without one single complaint in the hot, sunny summer of Austin, Texas. And of course, we rewarded her. I think there was like something for lunch and then some type of toy at the end. But she stretched her discipline of what she was willing, what she had already been capable of doing, to the edge in order to grow and evolve to the next level. Now her discipline is 4 miles, right? Because now if I say, hey, let's go for a 6-mile walk, and she's like, I don't think I want to do it. But I'll remind her, I'll say, hey, listen, you finished a 4-mile walk without complaining, which is what now your new standard is based on your discipline. So let's push it a little bit further. Right? So my point to you is your discipline is what you already do. You don't grow within the comfort of what you're used to already doing. right? So in your job or in your relationships or in your spirituality or wherever your goal setting is, in your whatever your success path is, you don't grow doing the things you already are disciplined or normal or normalized to do on a day in and day out basis. That does not get you anywhere closer to your goal. It helps you build if you're requiring to do the same things over and over and over again. But going back, what is the purpose of you as a human? I believe is to evolve, and evolution requires growth. And that constant growth pressure occurs at the periphery of your discipline. Right? Another example, kind of athletic. I see athletic performance as a very easy analogy to what it takes to succeed. So, for the first time a year and a half ago, a friend invited me or kind of coerced me to join and run the half marathon in Houston, the Chevron half marathon, 6 miles. And I'm not a distance guy. I'm a sprint guy. So the furthest I'd ever run prior to the half marathon was probably 3 miles. So 3 miles was my discipline. My mental training, my physical training, my capacity was 3 miles. And so in training, in order for me to get confident enough to be able to finish a 13-mile race, I had to expand my discipline. The distance I had trained to get to 13 point whatever miles it is, 13.6. So, first day of training, go to 4. Now my discipline is 4. I can routinely run 4 easily. After, a week or so of running consistently 4, expand a little bit more to 5. Run 5 for a couple days a week. And now my discipline is 5. And now, again, 6, 7, and I think in my training, I got up to 8.5 miles. So even entering into the half marathon, I had to evolve the last, what's that math, 4.5 miles, because the most I ran was 8.5 nonstop, right? And so my discipline was 8.5, and I had to expand to 6 to finish the half marathon without stopping, which I did, which I surprised myself. So now my new disciplinary standard is 13.6. So for me to expand beyond that, I have to go through that discipline. And see, that's where most people actually fail in their success path, because you have to repeat that distance of your discipline every time you want to stretch your goals to evolve. So now for me to evolve as a runner, I've got to run 13.6 before I can grow further, right? And to be frank with you, I haven't, because that's painful. That discipline to get to wherever your edge is right now can be painful, and people have an aversion to that pain. I do. I mean, could I do it? I'll have to train up to it, but do I want to? Hell no. I don't. And that's why I haven't run that another half marathon, because I'm thinking, man, for me to train up again, I've got to start running, enduring the pain of the discipline before I even get to the pain of the growth and evolution. And there is discomfort and there is pain at the edge and the periphery of your discipline. But even getting up to that point, getting up to that peripheral edge is painful. Very painful. Right? If it's a process you have to repeat over and over and over and over again. I think Steph Curry, for example, I think the most he's hit 3-pointers in a row is like, I'm guessing, I think I've read in there at once that he shot and made something like 270 consecutive threes in a row. Boom. So that's the edge of his discipline, to sit there and just 270 times. Dang, dang, dang. So, but if he wants to grow as a shooter, which I don't know how much further he can, because he's arguably the best shooter ever in the history of basketball, he's going to have to make 270 in a row before he can, expand the edge of that discipline. So he might get to 259 and then miss on 260. His discipline is still at 270, but in order to get past that, he's going to have to start back over to 0. Right? Just like in the marathon training or the half marathon training, every day I started back at 0 and had to endure the mileage that I've already run in the past in order to expand beyond that. Same analogy with Steph Curry and his 3-point shooting. Same analogy with you, whatever growth and evolutionary targets you have in order to expand and grow as a human in what you do. So I'm going to repeat this again. Evolution and growth occurs at the periphery of your discipline. So if you never built discipline, you're not really growing as a human. You're not evolving as a human. And that's okay. Some people just want to be static, NPCs, non-participating characters. You just do your thing, routine in, out, and then you die insignificantly. Hopefully having left a mark in this world, maybe not. But really, you never really expanded your evolution with your time here on earth, right? And so you have to push to that periphery of discipline and constantly have that drive to grow and evolve. Now, is it an everyday thing? Of course not. We're not doing this aggressively every day. Like, it would be crazy for me to try to run 13, 14, 15, 16, 7, 8 miles every day. My body would break down, right? But as you're building to whatever goal it is, it could be your schoolwork. Okay, read 1 chapter. Now read 2. Now read 3. Build up. And now you're constantly evolving and expanding. And that, my friends, is the exact purpose of us being here on this planet. I believe so. And in that evolutionary process, you reach goals. You reach success. You make monetary success, spiritual success, community success. You just keep expanding and expanding and expanding your evolution as a human, and you're just going to attract that good energy. It just happens. I promise you, it just happens. But again, for those of you who don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. But we're about success here. We're about meeting goals, reaching our goals, living to our fullest controllable potential. And to do that, we must evolve. So, glad to be back in the studio. I'm going to end this episode as I end every day, which is before I close my eyes and drift off to sleep. Again, I thank God and the universe for another day to be great, have been great, another day to hopefully have inspired one person to live to their fullest controllable potential, and hopefully that's you. And so with that, if you did expand your knowledge, if you evolved through the listening of this podcast, please do share the show. I like to say again, if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we together grow this podcast, the knowledge that we're creating for free for you and for the world, so that people can be inspired to live to their fullest controllable potential. So return that karmic exchange, share the show, visit all my websites, Westloop Law, PFASinjuryAttorney.com, Cura Connector, CURA Connector.com, LegacyXToken.com. There will be others that we'll be listing on our website that we're going to launch. And then we're going to restore that karmic balance. So with that, be great today, but be even more grateful. And I look forward to bringing you another episode very, very soon.